Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I thought I'd show you a little trick I use for getting the remainders of a sandpaper disc off of the plate on the sander. Sometimes if you get to the disc in time after you've exhausted it, you can usually just peel them right off and have no problem. This one's been stuck on here for a while and it didn't want to come off so well, so I'm going to show you a little trick that I use to get all this off and clean it right back up again. And the stuff I'm using is actually gasket remover by Permax. The stuff works great for working on carburetors that have leftover paper gasket on them, embedded in them. And I used it on here a few times too. And it just eats this stuff right up. And that's all we do, and we let it sit for a minute. And it'll eat right into that, and then we can peel it right off. And then we clean it up with some brake cleaner to get a nice surface again. Actually, I should get that stuff out too. Still eating its way in. Yeah, starting to gel it up. You can actually see this stuff working right as soon as it contacts. It's really good stuff. So while we're waiting for that, I gave you a little bit of a mini review on this sander. This is a Delta 1x5 sander, and I picked it up a few years back at Home Hardware. It's actually my second one. My first one I bought at Home Hardware too, and it was under $100, so I thought, you know, it's a good deal. Because when I got into making wooden grips, I needed a sander, and so anyways, the first one, I wore the bearings right out of it, and I was looking for spare bearings. And they can be a little costly. I think the cheapest price I got was about 17 bucks a bearing. And, you know, then you got to pop them out of the cones, put them in, and away you go, you're back up and running again. Well, I thought, alright, well, let's check and see if Home Hardware's got them. You know, maybe they're cheaper. And so anyways, they told me they had this one down in the warehouse, but it was in parts. And I says, well, as long as it's got the parts I need, sure. So I bought it off them, and I got it for under 30 bucks. And or no, I got it for about I got it for 30 bucks. And but it was missing some pieces, but it actually had a better table than mine, so I was able to replace the table on it. Bearings were perfect, you know, because I mean this thing's never been purchased before either, so had all brand new bearings. But I guess somebody had missed parts or took parts. Who knows what happens? You know, Canadian Tire's the same way. You look at some of their demo stuff and half the parts are missing. You wonder why. So I guess maybe customers needed parts, right? So sometimes you do that, I guess. So anyways, I got to take advantage of it and picked her up for 30 bucks, brought her home, swapped my pieces on that I needed to, and I got a perfectly good sander again. And you know, I kept the old one, at least most of it. I still got the engine and the platform because I'm actually going to turn it into a polisher, because these motors can really whip out some good speed. And so my motor was perfect in mine, and so I kept it as a spare for whether I have a spare motor or turn it into a polisher or whatever. But this one's been going now for the last 4 years, and since I did that, and the bearings are just starting to kind of get there. But now I'm using this thing for carving up metal because I don't do wooden grips anymore. But I mean, when you think about it, for under 100 bucks, I mean, it is good. It's a very accurate sander, you know, once you tweak things in right. But you do need a good level, you know, to get your table perfectly leveled and, you know, everything else. So, you know, once you get that set up, she does a beautiful job. You know, and you can get comparable sanders, like Mastercraft made almost the same one, exactly almost the same. Their table is a little different, but otherwise it's the same machine, you know. And I think, if I remember right, don't quote me on this, but I think Mastercraft had a little different handle here too. Theirs was plastic, this one's metal, you know, so a little bit of differences. Okay, so let's see how this stuff's doing here. But you know, if you're going to carve up wood, or you want to use this for grinding metal, like you guys seen in a lot of my videos, these things are great for doing that. I've even used this before for sharpening lathe bits that I needed to get on a little bit different angle and cut than I could get out of my bench grinder. So as you can see, the gasket remover actually works really well. So once we get the rest of this paper out of the way, we'll give it another little coat, and that'll lift up all the glue. Now when you're doing this, make sure your blade's extended a fair ways so they can flex and not dig into your plate. You really don't want it digging into your plate at all. Okay. So overall, it's a really good sander. I don't know if you can see this in the picture or not, but you probably can't. I'll zoom in. If you look at the center of the disc there, it's got a hole and it's threaded. There's actually an adapter snake thing that you can get for this thing, and do other kinds of polishing and whatnot. So it becomes quite the multi-use tool. Okay, so we'll give this another shot to get rid of all the glue. Let that sit for a minute. But like I said, Delta, Mastercraft, I'm sure Harbor Freight in the States has these kind of sanders too. And you know, they're all the same, you know. So it really doesn't make much of a difference whose brand name is on it. The big thing is, you know, you got to make sure this spin's true, and you know, that sort of thing, and you know, your table is nice and flat. Sometimes you can get a buggered table, you know, that sort of thing. So you got to kind of watch it when you buy any of these things. So if you get to pull one out of a box before you buy it, the big thing I like to check on is how true this spins, and also the table itself, how flat it is. You know, then this way you're not coming back to the store saying, hey, by the way, I got a defective product, blah blah blah, you know, type of thing. So, but otherwise, I mean, these things are great. You know, and you do have the adjuster tensioner on this too for the belt, so you can tune in its left and right portion. Well, let's hit that with a bit of brake clean and see if it takes the rest out. Whoop. Now the gasket cleaner does leave a film behind, which is why you're going to need the brake cleaner, or you can use carb cleaner. I think I did say brake cleaner at the beginning of the video, sorry. It's actually carb cleaner that I'm using. You can use either one, carb or brake cleaner. You know, you don't have to lamb baste it either, just enough to coat it on there good. Okay, that's nice and dry. And I'll take one more towel. Okay, so it's all clean, it's all dry, stuff works slick, so on with the new disc. And this one will probably get stuck on someday too. And this is how you press the disc on, make sure it all seats. And voila, you're back up in business. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll definitely see you on the next one. So just remember, can of brake cleaner or carb cleaner works fine for final cleanup. And it doesn't matter what brand it is, but gasket remover stuff works really slick. I've tried WD-40 before and it didn't work too well, so the gasket remover, that stuff works really good as you've seen. And so anyway, enjoy, have fun, see you in the next video.